Presenting an oral presentation of Where the Map Ends, Chapter 3, Malt Shop.
It was a sunny Saturday in May 1957. Danny, now 16, was hanging out with Ben and a group of friends from school. They decided to go to the soda fountain downtown to get malts and burgers. It was one of the favorite teen hangouts in town. The malt shop was bustling with other kids enjoying the weekend. Danny and his pals grabbed a booth by the jukebox, which was blaring hits like That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly. Before long, a waiter named James came over. He looked to be only a few years older than them, with a leather jacket and his dark hair slicked back in the greaser style. "What can I get you fellas?" he asked. As James took their order, Danny couldn't stop stealthily admiring him. With his lean frame and brooding eyes, James seemed dangerous and thrilling compared to the corn-fed boys Danny knew from school. Danny had recently begun noticing his attraction to some guys as much as girls. He wasn't sure what to make of these fledgling desires, but couldn't deny feeling drawn to James in a way he'd never experienced with a girl. When James returned balancing their cheeseburgers, fries, and malts on a tray, Danny studied his tattoo peeking out from his t-shirt, imagining what stories lay behind it. James caught his eye and gave a subtly flirtatious wink before sauntering away. Danny felt his cheeks flush. He sipped his malt, trying to play it cool. Luckily, his friends were focused on debating baseball stats and hadn't seemed to notice the exchange. Under the table, Danny felt Ben's foot tap his lightly. Glancing at Ben, Danny recognized the glimmer of understanding in his friend's eyes. Even in this crowded diner, with all the noise and distractions, that one intimation tethered the two soulmates. For now, it was enough. Danny looked around at the other kids laughing and flirting without inhibition. He envied their carefree innocence. Part of him yearned to shout out his truth, his deepest self. But the words always died in his throat, bound by an ingrained fear he couldn't name. Not now, Danny told himself. Maybe not ever. For today, it was all right to sit here stealing furtive glances at James and sharing veiled secrets through looks with Ben. Someday, he hoped to experience freedom. But these stolen moments, would have to do for today. Later that summer, Danny was working his usual shift at the pharmacy soda fountain when James sauntered in. "Got time for a break, soda jerk?" he asked with a coy grin. Caught off guard, Danny mumbled excuses about being too busy. James leaned casually on the counter. "Come on, take 15 minutes. I'll make it worth your while." He slid a folded napkin toward Danny with something scribbled on it before walking out. Hands shaking, Danny pocketed the note unseen and ducked into the back room. He carefully unfolded the napkin. Scrawled inside was an address a few blocks away, followed by 207 Oak Street, #3. Knock twice, then once more. I get off at 5. James. Danny's pulse quickened reading the cryptic invitation. This older, handsome guy was pursuing him for some clandestine rendezvous. But did he dare accept? What would his family and Ben think? All day the note burned a hole in Danny's pocket. When 5 o'clock came, he hovered awkwardly down the block from the address, arguing with himself internally. Before he lost his nerve, Danny forced himself to walk up and knock on the faded green door as directed. It swung open and James stood there with a motorcycle helmet under his arm, looking pleased Danny had come. "Glad you changed your mind." In that moment, Danny thought, why not take a chance? He stepped inside to discover whatever awaited him. Danny sat tensely on a dingy couch while James cracked open beers in the dingy apartment's kitchenette. He wasn't sure what the protocol was here. Did James expect them to? Danny didn't feel ready for that level of intimacy with a near stranger. "Here, loosen up a little," James said, handing him a cold bottle. He sat down close beside Danny, looking him up and down approvingly. "Didn't think you'd show. Figured you were too much of a golden boy." Danny bristled slightly. Guess you don't really know me then. James edged closer. I'd like to, though. He gently turned Danny's chin toward him. Every instinct told Danny to flee from this unfamiliar situation. But deeper down, he craved the novelty and danger of it. Danny let James bring their lips together in a tentative kiss. Before it went further, Danny pulled back. I should go. My folks will worry. James sighed but didn't argue. Next time, then. At the door, he trailed a fingertip down Danny's arm. See you around, farm boy. Danny hurried outside, pulse racing. With a mix of naivete and curiosity, he had allowed himself to venture into uncharted waters today. Danny wasn't sure where this unfamiliar current would carry him next, but he couldn't deny the growing temptation to stray from safe, familiar shores. Over the next few weeks, Danny wrestled with his memories and fantasies of James, this mysterious older boy who had shown interest in him. He knew venturing further down that path could have dangerous consequences, yet the temptation still called to him.
Find this story on Kindle Vella in the description below, or subscribe to this channel for the next chapter. Thank you for listening.